What's going on, everybody? Marvel the Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback. And today, folks, we're looking at Tales to Astonish, issue number 61. And today, folks, we'll be looking at the second story of this issue, which comprises of the Hulk. We know that we've been looking at the Hulk in this series. We looked at the first 6 issues of the Incredible Hulk in his original series, and now we're looking at Tales to Astonish. And what they did back then was they included 2 stories and Tales to Astonish issues. And so now we're looking at these issues now. And so today's title is Captured at Last. And so we're continuing this story here from last issue, picking up from last issue in issue number 60. This issue is brought to you by Stan Lee, who wrote this issue. We have Steve Ditko on the artwork, George Bell on the inking, and Sam Rosen on the lettering page. And so last issue we saw an unidentified spy lock himself inside the robot which Dr. Bruce Banner had built to test the effect of atomic explosions. Thus, when Banner once again changed into the Incredible Hulk, his own creation was turned against him. Powerful as he is, the Hulk is still human, still flesh and blood. Even though Banner's mysterious gamma rays have increased his strength 1,000-fold, and so even he, the strongest living mortal, cannot stop the 10-ton robot which was created to withstand the power of the atom itself. And that's where we're picking up from last issue. We have the Hulk going up against this robot here, this red robot. We don't even know who this guy is. And what we're going to find out is we're not even going to find out who is inside this robot too. And so that's interesting here. And so we see that picking up from last issue, we saw that Hulk toppled down that mountain. And what we're going to see here is that this guy in this armor is going to then come across these weapons inside this cave. It's a scientific apparatus, and it's like a stroke of luck for him as he's now going to use one of the missiles, and he's going to point it towards the army base. Now we see that Hulk is transformed back to Bruce Banner, and he says that he's the one who created the robot, and now he must destroy it. And first I'll need an electronic scanner in order to track him down. He can't be allowed to roam about at will, and so that's what he's going to be doing. Meanwhile, what we're going to see is we're going to see the first appearance of Major Talbot. Talbot is going to be a key character in these Hulk issues. He's a key character, and you'll soon figure out why. But he makes his first appearance in this issue, and he's been sent here to basically spy on Bruce Banner because General Thunderbolt Ross thinks that there is a connection between him and the Hulk, Bruce Banner and the Hulk. And so he has been sent from Washington, and we see that he is now going to be sent on duty to spy on Bruce Banner to see exactly what Bruce Banner is up to, because General Thunderbolt Ross has his suspicions about Bruce Banner. And he tells his daughter, Betty Ross, we see right here, to go give Major Talbot a tour around the army base. But she was actually going to go see Bruce Banner. And we see that what Thunderbolt Ross is hoping is that Talbot will get Betty Ross's mind off of Bruce Banner, and that maybe she'll fall in love with Talbot instead. And so what we see here is while they're looking and touring the facility, we see that Bruce Banner is not seen on the scene, and he's like, I told you to keep him under surveillance, Lieutenant. He said, I'm sorry, sir, but he vanished. And so we see that Bruce Banner is actually on the prowl looking for that red robot, as we see with his new scanner here. And so we see that then Major Talbot and Betty Ross are going to get into a helicopter to get a virtual tour, like up in the air, when they come across that red robot with that missile. And so what this guy's then going to do is he's going to try to kill them with this giant boulder. Bruce Banner looks up, changes to the Hulk because the tension that he's feeling quickens his pulse, rate, and it causes him to change into the Hulk. And we see that the Hulk is actually going to be the one to save Major Talbot and Betty Ross. But Betty Ross actually is going to see Major Talbot in a new light here, as he shielded her with his own body. And so maybe she might fall in love with him, who knows. But Hulk is now going to deal with this giant red robot that's indestructible. And he's like, "You brainless, muscle-bound clod. Now are you convinced I cannot be harmed?" And they're going to be fighting inside this cave. Hulk is about to fall down into this giant pit, bottomless pit, and it's huge. And he says, "You see that? It's a missile I found here among the caves. I've set it for immediate launch, aimed at the heart of the army base." And Hulk has to get there on time to stop this missile. So what he's going to do is he's going to leap off the cave wall and then push that red robot in that bottomless pit. And so that may be the death of that guy in the robot suit. I don't know. But what we see here is Hulk's going to then leap and destroy the missile, causing him to be in the full brunt of the explosion here. He plummets to the ground, and we see that Talbot and Betty Ross are going to come across the unconscious body of the Hulk. We see Talbot then alerts General Thunderbolt Ross here, and we see that they're going to collect the body of Hulk here, putting these chains, these special design chains developed by Tony Stark, the manufacturer here. We know that Tony Stark is an inventor of weapons, and that the army has access to his weapons here. And so Hulk is, he's in a bad predicament here. And so what's going to happen when he regains consciousness? Well, he starts to regain consciousness, and he sees that there's these 3 tanks pointed right at him, and he makes any sudden movements, they're going to fire at him. And we see Betty Ross is still wondering where Bruce Banner is at. So Hulk is left in this predicament. He's in these unbreakable chains, and if he makes any sudden movements or his pulse rates begins to change, he might change into Bruce Banner, and that wouldn't be good, because then everybody would see that the Hulk is actually Bruce Banner. And so what is going to happen next issue, folks, is how is Hulk going to get out of this situation? We'll be finding all this out in issue number 62. I can't wait to look at that, folks, and I hope that you'll stop by to check out that video whenever it's uploaded. But if you want to see that next video and make sure you don't miss it, go ahead now and subscribe to this channel, as you'll get more comics just like this up close, in person, HD content. You can read them as I review these comics. It's awesome. So go ahead, click that YouTube subscribe button. You know you want to. And so go ahead now, give this video a like, and I will see y'all in the next one.